Well, hello, my fellow car models. How are you doing today? We're looking down at my bench. We're going to do an update. I haven't done one in a while on the Porsche build, the 2-year Porsche build. I started this one for last year's Porsche build, and I got grandfathered in to be in this Porsche build, this year's Porsche build that ends at the end of September, and I will have this done. It's really going cool. I got some cool stuff to show you. So let's dig into this baby. I have been having a really good time with this model. I've been getting a lot more bench time, hanging out with friends on Discord and other things like that, and it's just been a real positive thing. The vision I had for this is really coming into focus. I'm really thrilled about it. I got the suspension all done and did my little tricks and things. I couldn't put the suspension together just out of the box. A stock Porsche suspension. I had to do all the little bells and whistles and tricks that a lot of them Porsche guys that kind of build a little bit hot rodded and better handling type deals. I kind of looked at pictures on the internet. That's what's so great about Google these days. Wonderful reference. So easy to look up these days. And I'm going to show that to you in a minute. And if you've watched any of the other videos, and if you haven't, go check those out. There'll be links at the end of this video. I tell you, this has been a really cool idea and coming together and a fun build. Just to bring you guys up to speed before I start showing you some stuff, is the idea of this car was this is a guy who is just a driver. This car is a driver. He doesn't care about its looks. I mean, he loves it. He takes care of it. He cleans it. It's a clean car. It's 50 some odd years. Remember, this is a 1973. So it's over 50 years of road use is showing on the car. And he loves it that way because he puts all his effort into the total performance of the car. So it is a function over form vehicle, but it still has its beauty. And that's kind of how I am. If any of you ever saw some of the cars I've had, I've never had nice cars. I've never put the money into making them look beautiful. Not that I didn't want to, but if I had the extra cash to put into my cars, I always went more into the performance and the ride and reliability and long distance driving, because I've never been one to get a car and shove it in the garage. I love to use them. They're built to drive, and that's what I love about cars, is driving them. This is, if I owned a 911, this would probably be what I would own, almost to the T. So with that being said, let me show you some cool stuff that we did to this. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to show you the underside. I'm sitting on slicks, big drag slicks, and it's stuck to the bottom. Ugh. It didn't do any damage, and when you see, you'll know why. Here we go. There's the underneath. I've been sneaking some pictures over time on the Facebooks, but here's a nice, good video version of it. Now, this kit started out as a built-up purchase off of eBay, and it was a glue bomb. But luckily, I had a kit, which any of the 911 enthusiast kits from Fujimi, there it is right there. That kit right there I had for a long time. That was just a parts kit. So it gave me all the parts that broke when I was taking this apart. This is the actual chassis from the original built-up kit. I did a video a long time ago on when I got this right there. Go check that out if you'd like. I destroyed all the, and I wasn't worried about, because I had everything I needed that was in that 930 kit. So, which is a 76, 930, 911, the turbo, wide body, as you saw. Everything's the same. It crosses over. But I kind of did a few little changes and tweakages on the suspension that I wanted it to be more what's kind of popular with the guys that like to spice up these cars. And they use kits that are designed from the 935 race cars. They had a little bit changing their suspensions from stock, and you can buy those pieces and whatnot. And I looked at a lot of those kits, and I kind of took the stock suspension pieces and really modified it. I did some whittling to change the control arms to make them look a little more like they were purpose bought, and swapped out. And I made a little with aluminum tube and handrail stanchions, made it look like Heim joints and radius rods here to replace what was there on the stock suspension. It's got all, and I know someone called me out once, but I just did this because you really can't see them, just to get the look and show that it's coilovers. I know they're tight and it wouldn't be like that on a real car. I'm aware of it. Oh well, it looks good for the model. I got that all together. When you look down inside where you're probably only going to see the coilovers, because I could have even left that out, and I thought, I got to have coilovers on it. That's what the car is. So I did that, and you can kind of see it when the wheels are on. You're barely going to see it. So I just needed to have that read of a coilover. Then if I turn right here, and I kept the opposable steering, and if you turn right there, you can see that arm right there, and it goes down to the control arm. You can see that is my sway bar link, which is a very common thing, replacement of the stock sway bar that they use for more racing applications. And I totally got that from the real deal. But that right there is for HO scale trains, the hose connections for the brakes on a train, that when they link up the cars, they connect with the hose. That's what that is. And then on to the rear end. The rear end's mostly kind of modified stock looking, but I kind of painted things up because what I wanted it to look like is, you can see it's a dirty, grungy car, but like you can see the suspension pieces are kind of like a little newer looking. I did that on purpose. It's like I said, this car is a function over form, and the guy was only interested in making a car that handled, and it was all for the sport of driving. So what we did here is I kind of did with paints. I'm using what I have left of, and I showed it a long time ago, my reserve of Testors Model Master metallizer paints. These are wonderful lacquer-based paints that you can brush, even though they say for airbrush only. I hand brush this stuff, and they go on so smooth, and the brush strokes disappear, and I can really get some. All this is all done brush painting. All the metal on here is brush painted with metallizers. My brass went away, and this was a mix. I'm starting to play with some of your Mr. Hobby colors. They have a lot of cool metal colors and stuff, so I kind of made my own, mixing a gunmetal and that gold that I just showed you to get that look of kind of that zinc oxide that they kind of do some of the pieces and parts, and looking at actual kits, that's what it looked like. So I just kind of did a lot of that kind of work. The sway bar, wanted to get rid of the stock sway bar and go with a more racing type sway bar. And I actually found these links set up in the kit that I got the suspension from. And these pieces go to some sort of application on one of the 911 kits that Fujimi did back then. There's so many cool things. If you ever get one of those enthusiast series kits, any of the BMWs, the 911s and all that stuff, they're so packed with detail. When you build your model, you still got tons of really, really great parts to throw into the parts box. And that's what that was. That was from the actual kit. Just wanted to have that kind of look of the connecting links and all that for the sway bar. This was the stock sway bar. I just cut those ends off and replaced it with these. And I just, to change it up, I wanted to just add a little different color contrast. And I found this really weird looking Mr. Hobby greenish something or other. I thought it would look cool, like they would have different types of sway bars they would change out, and they would color code them for their ratings. And so I thought that's the look I'd go for. And if you look back in there, I also found a really neat thing. Can you see there's coilovers in there? Those coilovers were also found in the donor kit, the 930 wide body 911 kit that got me all the suspension pieces and other parts. So that was really, really cool that they were in there and they fit perfect. And if you look right there, from Train, there's a company, I've mentioned this before, they're called Tichy Train Group. Get onto their website, it will blow your mind. Just look at this. I got tons of it. If you look at that, it's all different kinds of bolt heads and rivet heads and all kinds of cool stuff on there for great detail work for your chassis or anything on your models. So there was like no detail for the bolt. Can you see that on the you can see it better on that one. But that's what I used right there for detailing. Look like the bolt that holds the shock onto the lower control arm, and I just give it that little added realism. The different assortment of colors of Testors metallizers brush painted onto that engine. The engine was actually the built engine, glue bomb engine that was in this model kit when I got it, and I just chose to use it. I put some new parts there, like the half shafts are from the donor kit, and I'm not going to do anything on the top. I just left it alone because I'm just going to glue the back deck lid on. But for underside, it's got the look. So that's it, man. A lot done on the bottom, and I hope I didn't bore you with all those explanations, but I like doing that. Suspension, that's my favorite stuff. That's my jam. That's what I'm geek out about. It's my favorite part in the modeling is doing something like this. Now we got done with that, and we are working on the interior, and you can see, as I've showed before, going for that grunged up look. No carpet. Carpet got pulled up. Just stained all to heck. The roll bar that comes from the kit, this actually came from the built-up I got, and it popped out. I didn't even do anything with it. I just cleaned the parting lines because a kid built it. I got rid of the parting lines. I painted kind of a light glossy, a black with a little bit of gloss put on it to where it looks, kind of just spray painted and all that. And I don't know if you can see, I did a little bit of a cool chipping effect that I learned from Andy's years ago. If you can see, I just wanted to have that where the paint chipped off and you just have kind of that surfaced rust color of the metal showing through. Just give a little bit of that wear look that we're going for. It's a really cool process. You take a sponge. I just actually used I still have a few bottles of that old square Testors. I don't usually like that, but the rust, I always really like the rust color, and I have some of that, and I just used that, and I just got it on a little palette, and I dabbed it and dabbed around, and I would just, lightly dab on. I've done videos on that just to give a chipping effect. I did a little bit of that on the car here too in the past. But that's how the interior is coming along. There's like 3 or 4 different shifters in these kits to pick from, and I wanted kind of a more raw looking one like that would be just bolted to the floor. And of course you've got your emergency brake like there, and they had an emergency brake that didn't have a cover on it. All the detail, how cool is that? That came right out of these enthusiast kits. These enthusiast kits are absolutely amazing. We're working on the interior now. I've got my seats. I got a really cool plan for these. I've been talking to my buddies over there on the Insanity Podcast Discord. Get on there every once in a while and BS with them and have a good time. And I love picking armor guys' brains, and some of them aircraft guys. I guess they're okay, except that Justin Ryan guy. Anyways, got some great input from all of them on, I want to make it look like worn leather, and they were like specific. These guys are so specific with this stuff. It's so cool. I was asked, what vintage leather would it be? Would it be something from the 60s? And it's like, absolutely, 60s, early 70s. I want these to be like the seats that came in it in 1973. So they gave me some great advice. I'll do a little video on that when I get going on that and doing that. I was going to try something, but they actually gave me some better advice, but I don't know, I might play with it. I got this cracking medium from AZLeo. Never used it. I might give this a try, but I got some really good input from those guys on how to make some real looking old leather, and BG gave me some input. That guy's always good with weathering, so I've got all this great input from these guys. My brains. So we're going to do that. So that's pretty much the interior. I want to show you a couple things with the body. We've all seen the body. I've worked several times. It's the way this windshield was glued in. I got it in better than it was, but it's been tough. And I ended up popping it out, and it broke a bit of the car right there. That's how glued in this windshield is. So I got to use the windshield that came with it. I can't put up a new one, so I got to deal with all the slings and arrows and dings and bangs on that. But we can say that's like, birdie poo-poo and stuff like that, and rocks flinging up. And I rusted up that crack a little bit, and a lot of it's going to be hidden when I do bare metal foil around the window frames and stuff, the windshield frames. And I might hide a few things with stickers and stuff like that. I had a little bit of a hard time getting the side windows to totally meet up, but they look a little better. We're doing the best we can, but it is what it is. It's an old, that's what happens when you work with an old glue bomb. Got the unpainted back deck lid. I'm keeping it unpainted. It's chipped up a bit, and I'm keeping that. I'm going to do a little bit of weathering on these chips and stuff. I want that to be a representation of like a fiberglass deck lid that hasn't been painted and has been out in the weather for years. So it's just got this nice yellowing to it. It just looks good the way it is. I'm probably going to do the same thing with the rear bumper. I've talked about this in the past. Front bumper I'll paint. I've got those there. Front bumper I'm going to paint and ding up and rust in a few areas. That was usually steel, metal body they would use, but that stuff still will rust. And you can see this was painted, and I buffed it. I actually buffed it up. For a distressed paint job, I still wanted it to have a shine to it. This guy takes care of the car. He cleans it. It's not a filthy car. It's just well used, and it's loved. It looks like a loved car. And this is what's so cool. This is what I love about Tamiya paints, and I've gone over this before, but I will do it again. This is the actual paint can I used, and I have used on 2 models, and I still have plenty. This is probably going to go on another car. People have been saying, oh, you know, it's the price of a Tamiya, and you only get to paint 1 car. I'm telling you guys, there's enough paint in there. I'm going to get a 3rd car out of that. And if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. It's still stellar paint. Look at how nice it went down. And the thing about it being a synthetic lacquer, when it sets up and it's nice and all hardened, you can buff this stuff out. Look at that. That's a nice shine. It's not that deep, wet shine that you get with 2K, but that's not what I want with this. Earlier cars didn't have that. I wanted that buffed lacquer, that sanded, color sand lacquer look, and that's what I got. I'm pretty happy with that shine. You can see my finger pointing to my light. Huh? Pretty cool. Really cool on this paint job. I really think it's pretty neat. It should win best paint at a show. I'm just saying that. Just said it. Anyways, we're having fun. You can see the front with my Hoonigan sticker across there, and it's all beat up, and the front's all beat up, and we love that. We love that look. Now, real quick, so I got my Porsche wheels. I know they're out of stock right now. I'm having a little bit of issue. I got to make some new molds, but they will be coming back. But I got my Porsche steel wheels. I've got several different sizes. This is actually a size I hadn't started selling yet. It's more like a stock size, stock offset, I should say. And that's not what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a little bit deeper one on this car. But these are the tires that I'm going with. I found these in quite a few AMT. I actually found these in that 57 Chevy Street Machine that I did a video a while back on. That's where these tires came from, and they are just a cool directional tire. They fit perfect with this car. They look great in it. I've shown some cool pictures of it kind of mocked up and everything. So I got these. These are my wonderful Porsche steel wheels that Jim Rogers from Salvino's JR Models was very kind enough to design for me and 3D print the masters for me. So these are actually his 3D prints that I have in there. I'm probably just going to use some. I got a bunch of those, and I'm probably going to just use his 3D prints, because every one that I cast, I ended up either selling them, or I gave a few people some sets. Some of my friends that are building some cool Porsches that are going to take pictures for me, and I didn't make any for myself before the mold went bad, so I'm just going to use a set of Jim's, which that's just fine. I want to talk about another aftermarket company that I have done a video on, and you're going to start seeing videos from some of my compadres out there from the Scale Model Car podcast. They got some of this stuff. There is a company called Value Gear. And for those of you who don't know it or refuse to pay attention, and I'm saying that, I'm not trying to be mean, but I have put this out many times, and some of you guys kind of blow it off because it's for basically armor modeling. Now, in the armor modeling world, Steve Wenzel, well, he's a god over there. They love his product. You ever see him, if you go to any of the IPMS shows, especially the Nationals, go up and meet him. You might have walked right by it if you were at the Nationals and you're mainly a car builder, and you just walk by because, oh, that's armor stuff. I'm not interested. And let me tell you, one, he is starting to cater a line to 24th and 25th scale models, which is really cool. He's got some cool stuff coming out. He already has it out, actually. He already has it out. You go over to his website, you check it out. And I did a video on it, but I just want to show you. I'm going to be filling the back seat and a couple things of this car with his junk. It's junk. Not that his product is junk. It's just some junk to have in the car. Like, check out this box. Wriggly. I haven't even painted this. This is his casting. I'm going to do some detail painting to it. He has a bag of different size and different shapes and different openings and folded over and all these different, some of them are crushed. Boxes. Just the boxes. You know what you can do with these? And it's listed as, I don't know, 35th scale stowage for tanks and stuff like that or whatever. But that scale doesn't matter, and I'm going to show you. I mean, this stuff works great. Who cares? You find stuff that's neat. But I'm going to like place a box in there. It's like probably got some oil filters and crap inside there. And then, you know, I found an ammo box. This is a 35th scaled ammo box for just some tank stowage. Well, heck, that'll look good sitting in the back there. Just kind of, let's get it, you know, just, I'll paint it up green and do some weathering to it and stuff. And it looks perfectly 25th scale to me. Well, 24th. This is a 24th scale model. I think it'll look great in there. But here's something really cool that he's doing. He's getting into some car stuff, you know, to put on shelves of your diorama or throw into your junk car that you're making. But look at this. We've got oil bottles. A bottle, you know, 25th scale bottles of Quaker State or Valvoline, whatever you want to paint it up as. Look at that. That is cool. You get a whole bunch of those. And oh, look at this. Cans of Krylon. Open or not, you know, cap on, cap off. You've got little WD-40. You got back there, you can see some penetrating oil, little things. I got some of them laying around. I'm going to put some of that stuff in something like that there. This is out of all that, there's something really cool that was on that raft. Look at this. I'm going to have it sitting in the back. Look at this oil filler, this funnel. Okay? You know, it looks pretty easy to make, but check that out. That thing is how it actually, I don't know if you can see, if I can get you to see that. It goes all the way through. You can literally put liquid in this and it'll start dripping out of the bottom. That is how cool Steve's stuff is. So that is Value Gear. Check them out. Go over to their website and take a look at Steve's creations. He is an artist. He handcrafts a lot of his stuff. And like these things, he's getting into the 3D printing. But where this guy excels, his sculpting. I mean, that may seem simple, but if you looked at the detail, like look at the lift up little piece of wrinkled cardboard. He sculpted all that. But wait, there's more. Something I'm going to do. I got to have some kind of bedroll and tent roll and all that. This was in one of his sets of, you know, crap to throw onto a Tiger tank or whatever you want to do. Sherman's, I don't know much about tanks. But anyways, I thought this would be cool I've got this cool way I want to do a video on making bungee straps. So here's my opportunity. I've been kind of carving at the bottom of this to kind of curve it so it'll fit on this like that. The paint is so smooth. The paint's so slick, it just flies off. I'm going to strap this tent roll. You can see the tent poles are in there and everything. And I'm going to have it strapped right there on the back of the roof of the Porsche. Because this guy, he's taking a trip and he just rolls and he camps and stuff. You know, this is someone who just enjoys life. So just look at the detail. Remember, Steve hand carves this stuff. Look at the detail. This isn't even his good stuff. All his stuff is good. And holy Cow, he's got a lot. So you go on there and you just start looking at that website, you're going to lose your mind. And just open your minds. You'll see, forget that it's geared towards armor modeling and even specific model kits of tanks. It's just really, really cool. And you just got to use your imagination and you will see things that will work on your cars, especially pickup trucks. Like I said, here, go watch that video. I'm going to put that video at the end. You got to go check that video out. That's about it. That's my update. This kind of went longer than I thought, but I had a lot to say. I haven't done an update on the Porsche. I hope you guys like this. I hope you like what we're doing. Go on over and check out the Scale Model Car Podcast over on Spotify. Go check out Scale Model Car Podcast Facebook group. All right, we've got a Facebook group now. That's kind of where we're co-hosting this Porsche build, and also over on the Luka Porsche model Porsche. Gee, just that right there. I never can remember the name of it, and I named the dang thing. Anyways, tons of things. There you go. That's what it is. I don't know if I missed anybody, didn't say hi to anyone. I'm so sorry. I want to give a quick shout out. There was a little promo at the beginning. That great new magazine has hit the shelves and been flying off of them, and everybody's selling out of them. Auto Modeler Magazine. Holy cow, is that a cool new magazine. Man, it reminds me so much of the old days of Scale Auto Enthusiast. We have a show on this channel that's dedicated, that Scott comes on and we kind of do a run through what the next issue is, and that's coming up here pretty soon, usually about 2 weeks before it hits. The first issue was a hit. It did great. You can go over to their website and check out where you can get that magazine if you haven't put your subscription in, or just find where the retailers are that you can order it from, or maybe one of the hobby shops in your town has it. And if they don't, go in there and suggest it to them. Maybe the hobby shop owner doesn't know about it. But there's also something new, a Facebook group. Go on over to the Auto Modeler Magazine official Facebook group. That is starting to fill up, and there are some wicked cool looking builds over there. Holy cow. Awesome. That is cool. Anyways, I've just gone on and on. Let's end this thing. Let's put this baby to rest. I'm done with this. I want to, get back to working on my Porsche here. Anyways, this Porsche, it's a model car, and it's fun, right? That's why we do it. Here's the producers.